Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Martial Maze. I'm with my partner in crime, Barakula Chidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
And today, our guest has 30 years of martial training. He is the son and student of the Professor Charles Youmans of Kajukembo Karate. He's trained with Soke Raven Smith. He currently is the owner and operator of Chapman's Martial Arts. He's commonly known as the Black Tornado. I'm really excited to have him on. He is the host of a show that can be found on YouTube called 413 Trainers. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Our guest at this time, Will Chapman. Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Martial Maze, Will Chapman. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you.
You seem really reserved.
Yeah, I normally
You got a common vibe, man. I swear, man. It's like you from Chicago or something.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I like to be chill, relaxed, man.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, you know what? So I have to ask, and we constantly do this. How are you adjusting to the new normal?
I think just like everybody else, you know what I mean? Like I go in the store and I forget my mask. I got to go back to the car. You know,
That's the worst, right?
You know, the common problems, man, you know.
Oh, man, I'm just saying. So you begin your martial training kind of like Barakula Chidoshi and myself at Kale Griffin, his school in Springfield, Mass. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm actually a descendant, so I'm a generation down. So both of my instructors were taught by Griffin. My first instructor was my dad, Charles Youmans. And then
I didn't know that was your dad.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait, yeah, that was just a mic drop.
No
That was a mic
idea.
drop pretty early. Wait a minute. Charlie Youmans is your dad.
yeah.
Okay. All right, continue. Wow. All right.
Yeah, it was a lot going on in that household back in the day.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, and then when I became an adult, you know, I branched out a little bit, and my second martial arts instructor was Soke Raven. So,
Okay.
you know, I had a good time under both instructors and their personalities, being that they were both taught by Griffin. It was fun, interesting journey.
All right.
Okay,
I got stories. You know, back in the '80s, late '80s, when I was with Mr. Griffin, Mr. Youmans would bring his warriors by the dojo. I mean, we had our
That was a
fight
tough
days.
day.
We had our fight days because
Yeah,
all
I
we did was
remember that.
bump back in the day. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
he would bring his students by, and then more holes in the wall.
Well, I was going to get into the whole, that was a tough day just for the beginning part. Had to hold your leg out, do the side kick, slow, bring it back in, side kick, slow, bring it back in. And yeah, at that point, I always felt like you can kick down a house if you made it through the class.
I do not miss that old school training. I don't miss it.
I still have my students go through it.
Yeah, me too.
See, you guys are doing both better than me. I wake up in the middle of the night screaming, no more side kicks.
Oh boy! All right.
Still in therapy.
Still in therapy.
Yeah.
So what I mean from there, being under Raven, I had the pleasure of probably meeting him a couple of times, but I was more cool with his students. One of his students, Silver Dragon, Keith Gordon.
Yeah, it's one of my big brothers.
Yeah, he was one of my brothers.
Yeah.
We used to chill out and go to the nightclubs together and all
Yeah.
that back in the day. He was nothing
He's
to play with.
He's a distinguished martial artist.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
True indeed.
absolutely.
True indeed. So what happened as far as receiving that training and evolving from that training and setting up your brand? How did this launch?
Well, I think Raven preaches all the time that martial arts is like a tailor-made suit. It's designed to fit you. So what I did was I took my personality and my experience and put it into my martial arts. and made it practical for me, because it has to be practical for me to work for me.
Right, true indeed.
Right.
So that'd be more like he fit the art to the student.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
how
see,
you're
a lot of that
supposed
going
to-
on.
Yes, it's supposed to be that way in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't fit the student to the art, because there'll be certain things that certain people aren't capable of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have to fit the art to the student. You know, like if my self-defense, if my prime self-defense move is to kick a guy in the head, you know, take him out like that, and my student can't kick above the waist, what am I teaching that guy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know, but I have to tell you though, you know, oddly enough, because I'm currently writing, hopefully it'll be published within a year or so, but believe it or not, at one point in time it was the exact opposite. You fit the student to the art. So there were a lot of students that would just wash out.
Yeah.
For just that reason.
Yep.
Because, well, I don't have the flexibility. I'm never going to get there.
Right.
Or there were guys who would jump on a person's legs that you try to get them, and they end up
Right.
tearing up their groin. And there are a lot of injuries that happened over the years. Yeah.
Age is a factor. You
Well,
know?
what good is an art that if by the time you're 50 you can barely close your hands, or you can't, you got like lower back injuries, and and your legs don't work, your hip is blown out? I mean, what good is it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. That's bad news.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, from there, you formulated your own particular system, should I say?
Yes.
All right. And now, what does your system entail?
Well, it entails pretty much my journey, you know, and I kind of give it a little how I got it, a little bit differently than how I got it, but you know, it's all about combat skills, you know what I mean, and what I saw to be useful and not useful over my martial experience, you know. So
Now, when you say combat skills, are you talking about street fights?
absolutely.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about that, man. Because, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, you know, people get caught up in the sport side or caught up in the others, you know, or just on the street side, because you do both. I
Right.
mean, you do teach a sport, or you emphasize a sports side of it as well. So talk to us a little bit about that, the street side.
Well, the street side is the exact reason why I started taking martial arts in the first place. You know, one day I was coming home from school. I was 8 years old, but I grew up in the projects, Duggan Projects, you know, and I don't know about now, but back then, you know, it was jumping. It was a little rough. And
Which one's Duggan Project?
What? You don't know what?
it's
Duggan
over there,
Projects is?
Arthur P. Card Circle, Lazon Brothers Road. It's over there.
That's Duggan Projects?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they bump over there. There's certain probably, you know, Ream Village.
We Village. That's what I don't think of. Ream Village.
And Moxon Projects, you know, Moxon Projects was a bumping projects too, and you know, we used to feud a lot within our own projects with Moxon Projects, but that particular day I was feuding with my own projects. You know, another little kid from down the hill, same projects, you know, got to run in his mouth, and I got to run in my mouth back. You know, and it ended up like we ended up laying hands on each other, and you know, I mean, I think at 8 years old, it's more of a wrestling match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just so happened that my dad was riding by at the same time, you know, and he ended up being the one that broke up the fight, you know, and he put me in a car, you know.
Was your father on duty?
No, he wasn't. But, I mean, he might have had his uniform on, so it looked like he was probably just getting off, you know. But he put me in the car, and on the way home, you know, we just talked briefly. But I remember, like, ever since, like, he started his own karate program, like, almost immediately after that, you know.
So for our listeners that do not know who we're talking about Charlie Youmans, and he's a martial artist, but he is also SPPD. So he's also a police officer.
And now
Well,
finally retired.
Yeah, he retired.
He retired. But
he
hold up,
got to get
it's
there.
important because it's a brother
Yeah.
who was, who was a cop.
Yeah, and
you know
he was
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
brother.
Yeah, he was
He
good.
was one of the good
I'm
ones.
like, yes. I'm like, so yeah, we're gonna throw some. I mean, you might know him a little different because that was dad.
Yeah, that's different.
So yeah, you got a different experience. Well, hey, for us that saw him in the outside of the home life, he was the man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
good
stuff like that.
people.
Yeah, so he was. Yes. Yeah, well, he still is because he hasn't passed. So.
Yeah, he's still kicking.
Wait for me to make it awkward, right?
Yeah. And he's still teaching at the South End area, like in there. Yeah, I met up with I was teaching a wilderness survival class sometime last year with some young Hebrew brothers. They have a little section there. It was
those a brother of mine, Scott Vick.
Yes,
you know
he was the one who invited me to come by.
Yeah, that's one of my classmates. That's one of my little brothers.
Yeah,
he's a very good brother.
Yeah, and he said, right next door there was class happening. I was like, oh, he's teaching class too?
Yeah, that's
so
dope, right?
That's dope.
That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
So what do you have, man? You got any questions for this brother?
Dude, all right.
We chopping it up.
You know what? I've been excited. I've been actually looking forward. This is one of those episodes I've been looking forward to for quite some time because I'm a fan of your show. And I, if you listen to the intro, and I hope everybody did, that I talk about his show, 413 Trainers. Wait a minute, hold on. I want to say it one more time. 413 Trainers, and it's on YouTube. So I came about this on accident. I don't know what I was looking at, but I don't know why I had 413 ended up in there, but it said 413 Trainers. I'm like, well, what is this? And I locked onto the first episode, and then I reached out to others in the Marshall community, and I said, wait a minute, I know that dude. Wait a minute. What's going on? How come I hadn't been plugged in the whole time? And they're like, brother, because you left this part of the state.
Yeah.
So, y'all have like live fights. I mean, or like, because that doesn't look staged. They're exhibitions, yeah?
Right. So the fight game the way we approach the fight game is like, when you watch a show, right, and you hear them talk about how they made the episode, right, the realest fights is the ones where, like, Tommy accidentally really hit.
Yeah, Johnny. And they just started fighting.
And somebody said, oh, wow, that looked really real. That's because it was real.
Really real. Just like Sylvester Stallone.
So I put that mentality into what we was doing, and I said, everybody, want to fight. I said, let's get it in for the show.
That's because it looked great. I was like, oh, those don't. Because at first I was like, okay, this might be acting. And then I was like, oh, no, they're actually fighting.
And what my thought process is a lot of fights don't happen and a lot of people don't become great is because they're scared for people to see them lose.
You know what? That's I went through that for a little bit. I tried my hand in MMA, and you know what? A lot of people didn't know that I was doing it at the time because I was scared to watch people lose. Excuse me. I was scared to have people see me lose.
Right.
Because my ego kept getting in the way, going, can you imagine that? Can you imagine the way people would treat me here if I, thank God I was never knocked out. Tapped out quite a few times, but never knocked out. But imagine though, right? If you get knocked out here, then, even your old lady talking, think about it. You weren't so tough when he knocked you out.
Bro, listen.
And you gonna give that look.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you this, right?
Don't make me call brother
Brother
Jenkins.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you remember this? Remember that? Let me go? Remember that? Remember that you tapping out?
Yo.
So I could say this, right? Like straight up and down. UFC exposed a lot of individuals, and I'm talking about early, like 91, 92. And, a lot of folks lost their students.
And that's the danger of being like a fighter sensei.
Exactly.
Right? But I don't care nothing about that. I don't care nothing about
Well,
that.
if you've done it right, most of your students there are plenty of amazing trainers. There's the real famous boxing coach who like I think he has like he shakes a lot. But he's
who's that? Freddie Roach.
Yeah, I think it is Freddie Roach, and so he's an amazing. You get this guy, he's training you. You pretty much the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but if you said, well, that guy can't fight. You know what I'm saying? But he's the old guy at the gym. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
he knows what to do.
Yeah.
He knows how to make fighters.
I've met some of the greatest coaches or the greatest trainers, I would say, in my lifetime, who I would tell you one coach always comes to my mind. He really can't fight. He can't take a punch to save his life.
Right.
But he's made 4 world champions.
Right. Yeah. Some people have that eye. Some people have that knowledge, and some people know how to be motivational and hold you accountable as a student, as an athlete, you know, and they create the perfect package. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's multiple parts to the body. Every part of the body doesn't have the same function. So, like, you need that trainer, even though he don't know how to fight.
I see it in basketball.
I
see it, in NBA, NFL.
You can see that in life in general. You know what I mean? There are people who haven't really walked in your shoes, but they can direct you which way to go.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
This is so awesome. But why name your show 413 Trainers?
413 Trainers is it's an outlet for me.
Okay.
You know, it's an outlet to express myself other lights than people already see me. You know what I mean? It's a platform, you know, and my thought process behind 413 Trainers was to create a spotlight and put that spotlight on everybody who wanted to be under that spotlight. You know, because in the martial arts world, as I grew up, the particular system I grew up under, like, I felt like we were very segregated.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we were.
We were a very segregated martial arts community.
We were, but we were together, but segregated.
No, it was definitely segregation. And then the haterade would come in from depending on what.
There was secret things happening. Like, for instance, when I was with the Iron Dragons, right, we knew that we're not supposed to be mingling with other groups. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that what I'm saying is that at that time, a lot of us kind of like had a lot of buddies that were from other schools, and we all would hang out and
you can't help
trade.
that.
Yeah,
that's life.
Yeah.
Well, that's the when we talk about Kudo, like so Master Noriyashi Kudo, I only knew him as Kudo because there were kids that went to Putnam that were training with Kudo. They never said it was Noriyashi Kudo Sensei. They never said that it was judo. They just said one of Kudo students. And yeah, so there was plenty of cats like that.
Yeah. So,
however, because I know that I've seen you a couple of times. I was going to open sparring group, and that was with I'm trying to remember who actually got that going.
I believe that was Morgan's group.
Yeah, from the Kung Fu guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And because I remember Haskins Sensei had talked about, hey man, leave your ego, check your ego at the door. It's just a bunch of, because we tried that a couple of times, getting everybody together, and then again, it would work normally good for maybe 3 or 4 times, and then people would start, the egos would get in. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't get that many hardcore competitors typically together, especially in rival styles of fighting or different kind of fighting arts, and expect to a degree that competitiveness not to blow through. And that's what would typically happen. You get a bunch of us together, and it would be all fun and games until I did a technique or this guy did a technique, and then somebody would go, that don't work. And then we, okay, well, it even led to one of the things I typically say often. I do my talking in one place and one place only.
Right, the mat.
On the mat.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I do my best talking.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where that was born from, just that kind of thing. But I know, sorry, I'm getting a bit long-winded.
No.
that I've seen you a couple of times open sparring group, and it seemed like it was great, you know. And then after now, we see the 413 trainers, and I'm going, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So we're back to 413 trainers.
So on 413 trainers, I try to spotlight not just the fitness world, because that was my first initial thought process, to put a spotlight on the fitness community and the martial community, you know, and expose people to what they don't normally see. You know, you see this trainer here, this martial arts school here, and then you get to see a little bit of firsthand what they're like, you know. And, you know, I say, you know, I'm gonna find different trainers, and I'm gonna let them put me through their most vicious workout, you know, see if I can hang.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had the idea, well, let's extend it beyond the martial community, or beyond the fitness world, because there's so many talented people in this area. You know, let's create a way for the spotlight what they're doing within the community, because most of the news we see is negative news.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially within our community. You know, we very seldom highlight the positive, and there's so much positive. Like, I see so many people of color on the path to becoming entrepreneurs. You know, everybody is getting the mind, like, we're getting the point now. You know, everybody's getting the mindset, like, let's create generational wealth, something to hand down to my children other than debt. And, you know,
so yes, exactly.
You know, I see people getting it, and I see people like just walking in their talents, you know, whether it's a beauty shop, you know, or a art school, or whatever, you know. A lot of my friends are working on music and clothing lines. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to give that a shout out and give that a platform too.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I like that.
Yeah, yes. I was going to get into that because a couple of episodes I was like, what, really? We're kind of being taken on a journey.
Yeah,
no, I think it's very cool to show that form of enrichment. You know, I haven't watched every episode when it was put on to me.
Why haven't you, Barack Shidoshi?
No,
I'm going to put you on the spot.
I haven't got a chance to watch it, which I could have watched it, but I've watched the first, like, 3, you know, and it was put on to me by Randy. Randy posted it up, you know, and so when he posted it up, I was like, hold on, let me check this.
Yeah.
All right, and then I checked it. I was like, oh wow, this is like some MTV reality type, you know. And I was like, okay, this got something. There's something here, you know.
Yo, I always like I like feedback. Uh-huh. You know, feedback humbles me, and I always want to see, what do you see? You know, because I know what I'm thinking.
Oh, no, listen. I'm
I always want to know.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm going to say it right now in this interview. Challenge accepted. I have a routine. You need to come to my dojo. I have a routine. I will definitely put you through your paces. If you can make it through my routine, all right.
Challenge accepted. Yes.
You know,
and I mean that seriously too.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, I have a whole routine that
Nah, like, I look forward to workouts where I'm dragging myself out of your dojo or your school, mm-hmm. and then when I get to my car, you know, I'm sitting in my car for about 20 minutes before I take off.
Okay, yeah, then yes, you know, I got something for you, bro.
That's when you know you've been worked.
Your body is feeling like pills. You cannot hold yourself up.
Listen, last night I got a workout and it was crazy.
You're going to have to bring one of them BCCs or BA, one of them energy drinks.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, go to GMC first.
For real.
Tell them Missy sent you.
Word, that's dope.
You know, I like that. You know, and when you were explaining it and you were talking about the fitness element, you know, I see more fitness versus more training.
Right.
And
definitely.
And I've noticed the difference in a lot of the other schools. I see the fitness and I'm like, no, that's good. That's good. You need that. You need all of those. What are you doing for technique? What is going on there? you know, and so sometimes it's lopsided in that fashion. And I noticed that you kind of shot that out in the beginning, the fitness aspect of it. You know?
Right.
So, what are your views and your takes as far as you being a teacher, and how do you navigate that maze as far as, okay, do you incorporate your technique within the fitness, or do you keep them separate, or how does it work?
No, so like, you know, so my dad, he used to teach a Taibo class, you know, and that was inspired by your man Billy Blanks, you know, and being a practitioner of that, I could see the value in putting the technique in the fitness. I could see the value in it, you know, because everybody that needs fitness will not train. You know, it's just a fact. They don't want to do that. You know what I mean? They think that's too much. But by having the opportunity to put the technique in the fitness, you expose them to so much more. Yes. You know, and they're walking around with skills they don't even know they got.
Yeah, until you're like, hey, Bob. But it's like wax on, wax.
Right.
Yeah, like literally wax on, wax on.
Yep.
All right, well, because I'm going to piggyback off that a little bit because, I mean, I know you fought, you've wrestled. You did high school wrestling. And have you ever fought in the ring? Like just cage, ring, or any of that stuff. I mean, outside of point fighting. But no, point fighting kind of gets into this too.
Right.
Because I guess where I'm going with this is there's a type of endurance that a sport competitor needs. The explosiveness, the endurance, the coordination. Right. And
Absolutely.
I feel like all of that kind of training that you do, all that extra stuff where people are like, well, that's a whole lot of fitness for a fight that's going to last. I'm like, well, try it. Try fighting 15 minutes, in a cage. 5-minute rounds.
Right.
You'd find out, well, I mean, even when you look at boxers, the way boxers train, they train they do an amazing training regimen for a fight that lasts about 45 minutes, and they get a minute rest in between each round. So talk to us about that. I mean, so explain to our audience why it's so important, especially on the sports side of it, to have that kind of physical conditioning.
I've seen a lot of people, I was going to say it kind of frankly, but,
No, be frank. Be frank.
No censorship.
No censorship.
Okay.
Be real.
Okay.
Yeah, be real.
I've seen a lot of people get their ass whipped because they ran out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I've beat a lot of people because, especially wrestling, because I've had the opportunity to encounter some great wrestlers. But at that time, my gas tank was just like, it was like endless, especially like if we were wrestling long enough for me to catch a second win.
Ooh.
If I had to catch a second win, my gas tank was like endless. So I beat a lot of people that I probably shouldn't have beat if their conditioning was up to par.
Okay.
So conditioning plays a great factor in anything you do.
Exactly.
And like right now, even right now, I'm 42. I got a grandchild on deck. A lot of people.
Wait a minute, Brock. He's talking about like 42's old.
Yeah.
You're still young, bro.
Yeah.
That's all right. We all young though.
Yeah.
It's all a mental thing.
Somebody get my cane. Where's my cane?
Right. I mean. I feel like you're as old as you feel. You know what I mean? Because to the young bucks, I'm an OG, but I don't feel like I'm an OG.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So
that's being humble.
Right, right.
Well, no, see, I'm a little jealous because both of you got Grizzly Adam beards. I can't grow one to save my life. All I wanted was just that old, like the Charlene Monk one, so I could be like,
nah,
yes.
But he got the full package because, I had to sacrifice up here to get this.
That's funny.
What happened to my department? I'm also bald. I got nothing. Nothing here.
Yeah.
Yo, that's genetics, man.
Right.
They're like, what? Wait a minute. Hold up. It can't be. You saw my father. That was a hairy. When he took off his shirt, he was wearing a shirt.
I'm just saying that part missed.
Maybe you the avatar.
I know.
That's a funny one. That's a funny one, man. I like how you said You know, endurance. I stress that to my students all the time. It's a maker or breaker. You know, I don't care what kind of system you practice. If you are dealing with someone that is athletically superior to you, I don't care how. If you can get that technique out the first time and it ends that situation the very first time, kudos. All right. But if you get that person down, I know people where you can slam them with the earth, or you can take them down or hit them and they can get right back up. Whether it may be, maybe they're on drugs, who knows? But let's just say it's just sheer will and might and all that. Yeah, indomitable. And so it doesn't matter. That person got back up, and you're just looking at it like, damn, how many more of those throws you got in you before you get winded? All right, versus the one that is just like, yo, I do marathons, I do triathlons, yo, bro.
I'm gonna do triathlon on that ass.
Yeah, and so I like how you brought that out, because you have certain individuals, other martial artists, that believe that, you know, hey, listen, I'm not here to deal like that. Okay, I'm here to end the situation, which I train the same way. We train to eliminate threats.
Right.
But also, depending on the circumstance and who you are meeting, because no one has it written on their forehead, martial art expert, triathlon expert, or whatever you do, no one knows.
Well, hold up, wait a minute. I'm looking at both of you. This guy has martial art training expert. You have martial art training expert on your.
You know,
I mean, I'm like, really?
No, but I'm just saying, you never know who you're gonna walk into.
Right.
In the street, you don't know who you're gonna walk into. Look at you. Look at me. I'm that guy walking down the street. You have no idea what I know. I have no idea what you know until you put hands on someone and you realize, oh, damn. Boy, did I get myself into something. Even if you meet two trained individuals and that person just didn't expect that caliber. So I believe fitness is a very huge part, you know, on your martial journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch gears for a little bit real quick. So I know you have a commercial spot. That means you have a storefront. You have some place that you're paying rent to, and people can find you on the street. Where's that first off?
284 Main Street, Indian Orchard.
Indian Orchard where? There's plenty in Indian Orchard.
Yeah.
So why don't you say that
Main
again
Street,
and include like everything? Go ahead. If you do it again, please.
Yeah, so it's called the Chapman's House of Pain.
Okay.
And we're located 284 Main Street, Indian Orchard in Massachusetts.
All right, that's what I'm. All right, because I'm like, I'm like Indian Orchard, and I get a text or did somebody email the show and be like, hey, I went to find that. I went to Indian Orchard, there was nothing there.
With that being said, you know, we have a lot of us guys who teach martial arts. A lot of us, like, I'm private. I just don't accept anyone as students. But there's a whole nother kind of game when you have a storefront. All right. Now, just break down some of the differences as far as, you know, having a storefront, and how has it worked for you business wise?
It's been a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely been a journey. It's had its highs and lows. Mm-hmm. You know. Yeah, it's been a very
I'm serious,
interesting journey. Like, I've definitely learned a lot. You know, trying to be an entrepreneur and the business of choice. You know, teaching people, dealing with people, in the manner that us martial arts teachers have to deal with people. You know, you end up developing an intimate relationship with the people that you train. You know, so it's an interesting journey balancing those intimate relationships with business.
Yeah,
I was gonna get into that. So one of the mistakes I made when my first commercial place, which really tainted me, to the point where I really I'm not even sure I'd ever go commercial again. Even though I'm kind of dabbling, I do have a place. But I did find someone else to run my business for me. so that way I could have that intimate relationship with my students or the parents of. And because you're absolutely right, when you're training somebody to want to be champions and stuff, you got to get to know them. You got to get to know what drives them, and it's really hard to run a successful business,
Right.
and be worried about, look, I know he just lost the job, and
Right.
and da da da. So hey, I'm gonna
That's
just do
tough.
it for nothing and stuff like, and then you end up closed, or you end up at a YMCA or something like that.
There was
because,
a good movie that came out that was sort of based on that. It was called Red Belt.
Yes,
man.
that's
Yo,
what
That's my movie.
Yeah,
Cut it
no,
out.
that's
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
is
You know
that
what
with Michael J. White, right?
No,
No, the other guy.
Yeah, I forget his
He
name.
played in so many movies, but
Hold
he,
up, wait a minute. No, I got Sir Google right here. I'm
Yeah.
about to get into that.
I had my students watch it because I go through that personal journey writing my books and creating curriculums and things like that. Right. And one of the things that I've noticed, a lot of us guys, we're private, We reserve the right to choose who we want to have as students. Now, when you're public, first and foremost, let me ask you this. What made you want to go public in the first place?
Well, I was like being part of the school that I came from. I remember when we were younger, we were like an army. We went everywhere. When we went places, we went deep.
Okay.
You found it?
Yeah, sorry, I found it and I can't pronounce the guy's name.
Right.
That's the problem. So I'm like, yeah. So if
Let me see
anybody
it.
here
Let me
can
see.
pronounce that man's name,
let me see.
he's in a lot of movies. Yeah, he was in Firefly.
Yeah. He was in-
Yeah,
I didn't know he's a real life martial artist.
Yeah, he is. He was in Salt.
Yeah. Salt.
That guy was in
He's been in a lot of movies.
a lot of
Ejiofor.
movies.
Huh? What? How do you say his name?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel-
He's Nigerian. He has to be Nigerian with that. It sounds because I know Akbar, and he's Nigerian.
The fact that you could pronounce it, I'm looking at it. No, I thought I was getting
Nah,
dyslexic.
I gave up.
Yeah, he was over. Yeah, so Chapman was tapping out. I was thinking I needed glasses.
No, but continue. What was you saying?
So I mean, with the school, I mean, it's just been I had to learn business because what we learn is how to be senseis.
Exactly.
We don't learn how to be businessmen when we step into this journey, But if you stay on it, you will learn how to be a businessman.
Wow, he just hit the nail right on the head.
But one saving grace for me is that the dojo is my sanctuary. I need that place. So I'm going to pay the rent whether I got one student or 1,000 students because I need that place.
It's therapeutic.
That's my place. I welcome you all into my place. You know what I mean? It ain't going nowhere
This
until
is
I'm ready
home.
to.
I paid rent here. This is another crib.
Right.
You know what? But see, it's interesting that you would say that because then that would mean that it got passed on to you, that reverency. Because remember, when we were coming up, the dojo was just that. That was your sanctuary. It was your church, your home, your family from your family.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was you'd meet brothers that were part of your school. You did, and y'all could never really talk to each other in real life, but you'd see each other and then we had the bow, we had all of that, the culture, right?
Yeah.
And in sensei, the senpai kohai relationship that was developed in the dojo, and then you go to a church, right? And you find the same dynamic. And like that in a church, like a closed church, right, where everybody kind of knows everybody, and you're always almost all together. That's bananas.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact
mean,
that tradition.
If you think about it, right, like a church is a place of worship, somewhere where you can get in tune with a higher power, somewhere where you can get in tune with yourself. You learn relations with others. And I compare my dojo to that in a lot of ways because you are met with yourself at the dojo, especially like when you're entangled with somebody and you don't got no more, like that's when you meet yourself. You know. Now, am I gonna just?
That's when you get the spirit.
Am I gonna give up?
Yep.
Or, you know, and yeah. So I mean, in the dojo, we've done things in the dojo that we've beat people, we've been beaten, we've bled, you know, we sweat, we cry, like we've got it all in, you know. I mean, there's some things that happen in the dojo that haven't happened anywhere else.
Right.
The dojo is a magical place.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, that's my magical place. It ain't going nowhere until you know.
That's what I'm talking.
How long have you been a staple in the community of Indian Orchard?
I've been out there for almost 4 years, about 4 years now. Yeah, they've been tolerating me out there for about 4 years.
Now, if you could explain to some of our listeners, because we have local listeners, what are some of the classes you provide in your school?
Well, when I'm not working my main job, because my main job I work with children. You know, I'm an interventionist, and I help out children with social emotional issues.
Okay.
You know, when I'm not open, when I'm not working rather, I open up for lots of personal training sessions.
Yes.
But when I go back to work, those personal training sessions diminish, and it becomes more mainly classes.
Okay.
You know, and my class routine is I do kids in the evening, and then I do adults right after the kids. Wrestling, my wrestling program is seasonal. You know, wrestling program I usually do on Tuesdays and Thursdays after school hours. But that's seasonal. But the martial arts, the combat training, we go all year round. And it's usually on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. You know, I start with the kids at 4 p.m. And then I'm rocking with the adults at 5:30. Adults, we go for about an hour and a half. You know, but you know, it's been up and down, because sometimes it's a fad, sometimes it ain't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then lately we've been hit with this pandemic. You know what I mean? And then there was a point in time where we thought we were through it, because you can tell by people starting to peek their head back out.
That's like today.
And then it hit again.
Yep.
And then people went right back in. You know what I mean? So, it's been a journey. It's been a challenge, but, you know, my mindset that's my sanctuary. That's kept me afloat.
So I want to walk it back though, because let me. So I heard you correctly. So you're saying that what do you do for work again?
I'm an interventionist.
So you're an interventionist for what? For kids, right?
Right.
So you've been servicing your community, yeah? Is that a good way to say it?
I think my community's been servicing me.
Oh man, listen. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, look. Hey, you know, I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, no. He said it right. There's a lot to gain.
So not only are you, well, I'm gonna say it. You can be humble. I'm gonna say it to you. So not only are you a pillar in your community for what you do professionally, I mean, you are a pillar in a way in your neck of the woods. Well, just in that part of Massachusetts, if you will, you know, and I like to think so. I mean, I've watched enough of the episodes where there are plenty of people that are training there. I've noticed a lot of familiar faces and stuff like that. And you are working with some of the best in the area, because I saw you were at the Whitleys. Some of that, the twins. I'm like, yeah. So I mean, you're working with, pound for pound, if they're like the
Those
best fighters. Yeah, I'm like, Chapman Sensei came from that group. Yeah. So I'm like, so you're working with some of the best of the best of the best that, you know, in this area of Massachusetts. Well, actually, I'd say in all of Massachusetts, and I dare somebody to try to tell me different. You know what I'm saying? There might be somebody somewhere going, challenge accepted. And I'm like, well, come to Western Mass.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
These boys over here ain't shy. They're not shy.
You know what I'm saying?
They will lay hands on you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's how we came up. You know, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You know? So, in your school, your curriculum, you teach Kaju Kempo, or do you have something else going on?
So my curriculum has evolved over time. And over time, what's evident in the curriculum is more of my personality. You know what I mean? Because I felt like Kaju Kempo is a great art. It's very dynamic. So is Kempo, because Kempo was the original style for me. You know, depending on what time you went to Griffin.
Yeah, you got because our generation got one version. I know others that got a different.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know what it's like because it's been the same with me. Because when I first opened up, I was teaching one thing, and then I evolved and started teaching something else.
Right. And there's
you know
nothing
what I
wrong
mean?
with that.
So you know, it's been a journey. But yeah, like what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to give people what I think is practical, whether it's, you know, I don't care if it doesn't have a name, and I just learned it from this little kid on the street. You know what I mean? I seen him do something, and I was like, yo, we could use that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I got that mindset, you know, because I've seen people who have no formal training fight and get it in. Get it in.
We
like,
talked about that last week.
You know,
Yes, we have.
and I seen people that have been training their whole life look like they couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week.
We really did.
You know, about systems and like because I teach. You know, I'm teaching in Brooklyn, and so I'm kind of like right out there, and cats will eat your food. All right, so you know you're out in public, and they will test you.
Yeah.
All right, and
So for those that don't know, when he says cats will eat your food, people will try to beat you up.
Yeah, I'm eating this food. I'm taking that. Like,
I'm just thinking about our listeners. There's somebody going, well, why would somebody want to eat my food?
no, listen, you could be eating a plate. I'm taking this. This
Hey,
is
yo.
mine. This is mine. What you gonna
Hey,
do?
yo, my
I'm
man
eating
said
your
that.
steak.
My man said that on the show, episode 5. You know, the coach was like, you know, what you gonna do to him? He said, I'm gonna eat his food.
Yeah, that's all I'm like, well, no, when I heard it on the show, I was like, what, did I miss something?
At home was shocked. He was like, he's gonna eat my food?
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Well,
so,
that's just street vernacular. Let's just make it clear that's just street vernacular.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hostile. I mean, come on, you order a plate.
Yeah.
I come out of nowhere and I just start taking a knife and fork and just say, this is mine. And just start eating
listen,
and
you better
drinking
be
your
a
water
rad
and everything like, yours is mine. What's
Chow
up?
time, baby.
I'm like, that's some
You know,
jailhouse type shit right
no,
there.
I'm
I'm
just
like,
saying,
you're
that's
about to get roughed up.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
I'm just saying, that's how it's real. It's real. And
For
so
real.
you're in a place, when you're in a place teaching where people can see you and interact,
Yeah.
all right, you better be on your A game. All
Yeah.
right, and that's really
Exactly.
important. And so what we were talking about last week, like as far as me taking in certain students that have just a natural fighting ability and teaching them a system on top of that just perfects everything.
Yeah, it does.
I make monsters.
It does. You know, I mean, that's why people try to student jack. You know, I mean, there's student jackers out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, well,
because
that's disrespectful, man.
It happens though. It happens because I done jacked a couple students. You know what I mean?
This dude right here.
But
he's a self-admitting
Wait a minute,
jack.
they must have been in bad hands.
Nah, they were in good hands.
They were in good
They were in
hands.
good
They were in
hands.
good hands. All right, go ahead,
It
brother.
just
Go
happens sometimes because
He
you
said
know what it
just
is.
happens sometimes.
What I realized,
Uh-huh.
every teacher is not for every student.
Right.
You know
Now
what I
he's
mean?
trying to rationalize jacking
No,
somebody's
because
student.
personalities come into play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you might be the baddest teacher in the world, right? But your personality-wise, you're an asshole, right? And Mary Jo over here is a little
you're
sensitive.
meaning I'm a really good teacher, but I'm an
Right.
asshole. Okay, because you said
Right.
the baddest teacher, and
Right.
And in my head, I'm going,
See,
whoa,
yeah, right. When I said
that's a
bad,
double
I meant
negative.
the good bad, like
Yeah,
the Michael
yeah,
Jackson bad.
yeah.
Okay,
You know
all
I'm
right.
bad. Yeah, I'm in that bad.
Okay.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no, all right. I'm being
Right.
ridiculous. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, some of our personalities are too strong for certain people. You know, some of us, like over the years, like I realized that my kids gravitate to my lessons more when I be like Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle, when I'm humorous,
yes.
they rock with me more than when I'm like, my instructor was for me.
Yes.
Now, when my instructor gave it to me raw, and if I didn't like it, I can shut the fuck up and do them push-ups.
Yeah, that sounds
You know what I mean?
You're going to have to repeat that part. You dropped an F-bomb in, so I'm like, yeah, I got to edit that one out. So say that part again.
Right. If I didn't like it, I can shut my mouth, and get on the ground, and push that floor.
All right, that didn't sound the same. I the other way back.
Well, I might leave it in, but it just changes the rating on the episode.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't have the same tonation.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't like flowing. Now he's just kind of like, ha ha. I said F-bomb. Yeah, it's hard, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I feel you.
I just evolved over the years, you know what I mean? But, as far as like, I mean, I've had students that have left me and went to other martial arts teachers. And I realized, like, I used to get tight over that. But then I realized, it's, I became happy to see that student is still connected.
Now,
yes,
let me ask you this.
I'm cool with that.
Wait
However, wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm going to jump in this.
No. Hold the thought.
Okay, all right.
Were these people you knew?
Absolutely.
No, that jacked your students.
Yes.
Ooh.
You were really cool with them?
Yes.
But
in their defense, it was people that I was really close to that I done jacked a couple students.
Oh, okay. So
and we had to have meetings in regards.
Well, okay. So see, this is just it. This is so a lot of us over the years, so that we weren't fighting each other. This is typically how it works. If somebody comes to me and says, "Look, I was training at Chapman's gym," the first thing I do is I say, okay, well, here's either one or two ways we can handle this. I'm going to call Chapman's gym. First off, I got to make sure you weren't kicked out of Chapman's gym. And cause if you did get kicked out, I need to kind of know why, because it could ruin what I'm doing at my gym.
Right.
So, one, it shows respect to you. That says, hey, you know what, man, you got a guy, he's coming in, he said he trained with you, is he all right? Boom. I understand that we don't own ownership of nobody. I'm like, that's not how that one works.
Right.
Those days are long since gone. The disciples and that's my disciple, da-da-da. However, a lot of us still honor the old traditions.
I'm the same way in Brooklyn. I do the same thing. I always do the research, like who you train with, because I know a lot of the instructors out, and I always do that because you want to keep that good relationship, because you do not want to cause a rivalry, with other schools and things like that. So that's very, very important. But at the same time too, I mean, it's like sometimes certain individuals are too good to pass up. So go ahead.
It's a few factors involved, right? And you spoke of the etiquette behind tradition.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But what I realize is, like, in life, you learn two ways. You either learn by experience because you chose not to listen, or you learn by listening, right? And so, over time, I don't know what it was, whether it was I wasn't paying attention to the tradition of things, or either I wasn't taught. You know what I mean? I don't realize, but I know going through these situations with people that I care about and that care about me, and we have students that are dangling, ding dong in between us. It has taught me, like, how to reach out, how to address the situation.
I like that.
What I mean?
Well, I love it when the students cross training. Look, where I've studied many different martial arts, my fave is judo, and that is the one I teach. So if somebody came to me and they really want to, look, man, I really want to learn some of the striking game and the fight in the cage. I know you kind of did all that stuff. I would say, well, no, there's a handful of dojos. If you want to learn how to hit somebody with the earth, I'm your guy. If you want to learn some decent newaza, I'm still your guy. But if you want to do a timiwaza, you want to like the strikes and you want all that stuff, fighting off a cage, I don't know, then I might say, because I've seen your place, Well, I got
Yeah.
a guy for you. I'm gonna send him down your way.
Yeah.
You know, like that. So boom, and no Brook family discount. You know, you gotta pay.
Yeah, no, listen, I do the same thing. In
Yeah.
Springfield, the same thing has happened to me. People will inbox me on Facebook. Hey, yo, I love what you do. I want to come over and start training. Yo, I'm trying to lose weight. Want to learn how to box and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, bro, did you go to my website? Did you read what I teach? That is not what I teach here.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, and you've hit the nail on the head during this episode. Is you guys are well rounded and
Yeah.
stuff, and again, folks really should. If you haven't, now you know. There's 413 Trainers. It's on YouTube. Folks don't have an excuse.